Or also look, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about a hypothetical yet very foreseeable fight in the future between the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Dricus Du Plessis, versus the number 12 middleweight ranked contender, Khamzat Borz Chimaev. And if Khamzat Borz really has a shot at glory against Dricus? And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so you can help me reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. I'll deeply appreciate you. And make sure you join the official UFC Discord, link in the description. Alright, so look, with UFC 305 now in the rearview mirror, Dricus Du Plessis has now officially solidified his status as the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. And since then, I've been brainstorming some potential fights the UFC can make for him, and one matchup in particular stands out as one of the most thrilling the organization can make right now at the 185-pound division. And I'm talking about Dricus Du Plessis taking on the undefeated 13-0 wrestling phenom, Khamzat Borz Chimaev. And I guarantee y'all, this is a fight that would 100% have the MMA world buzzing. And now, before we jump ahead, we've got to acknowledge that the UFC have already stated that the winner of UFC 305 would already be lined up to face off against Sean Strickland next. And you know, it makes sense on paper. However, let's assume that Dricus Du Plessis and Sean Strickland do square off, and as I predict, Dricus Du Plessis comes out on top. After that, things could get really interesting if Khamzat Borz puts on a masterclass of a show at UFC 308 against Robert Whittaker. And if Khamzat can deliver a highlight reel finish over the former champion, then there is no doubt in my mind that we can see him face off against Dricus Du Plessis in the not so distant future. Khamzat Chimaev is already one of the biggest stars in the UFC, despite not even touching a undisputed world title yet. And whether you love him or hate him, his 13-0 undefeated record speaks for itself. And his dominant, aggressive wrestling style has made him already a household name within the sport in such a short time span. And what's mind-blowing is how quickly Khamzat Borz has become such a dominant force in the sport. I mean, you know, he's only a few years into his UFC career, and already there are serious talks of him fighting for an undisputed world title. His rise has been incredibly meteoric, and he's managed to captivate fans all around the world. But that's what makes this potential fight against Dricus Du Plessis so much more intriguing. From a stylistic standpoint, this could be one of the most entertaining and exciting matchups we've seen in recent memory. You know, Khamzat Borz is known for pushing a blistering pace early while using his wrestling in order to close the distance and smother his opponents. His game plan usually involves him overwhelming his adversaries with relentless pressure until they either break or he finishes them. But the big question here is, will that strategy work well against someone like Dricus Du Plessis? Dricus Du Plessis has shown on numerous occasions his incredible durability as well as toughness, something that sets him apart from many in the middleweight division. He's unpredictable, well-rounded, and has a unique, unorthodox striking style that keeps his opponents guessing. And you know, with Khamzat Borz's usual aggressive approach, it might not work as well or as efficient against somebody like Dricus Du Plessis, who has proven time and time again that he can weather storms and come back even stronger as the fight progresses. But there are other factors we've got to consider as well, like Khamzat Borz's recent health concerns, or his lack of activity over the past year. You know, we haven't seen him consistently in the octagon, and that's what makes it so hard in order to gauge where he's at physically. And, you know, as a diehard Khamzat Borz fan, I cannot ignore that we need to see him perform at UFC 308 in order to, you know, really get a real sense of whether or not he's still that dominant force we all know him to be. But if he's able to go out there and take down a tough, gritty vet like Bobby Knuckles, especially in a highlight reel fashion, then we can really start talking about him taking on Dricus Du Plessis in a not so distant future. But until then, it's kinda hard to make any definitive predictions. But with that being said, if I had to envision how a fight between Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev would realistically play out right now, it could possibly go one of two ways. Khamzat Borz can either come out guns blazing in the first round like he usually always does, using his world-class elite level wrestling to put the pressure on Dricus Du Plessis early, possibly looking for a finish. And we've seen this with him time and time again, swarming his opponents before they can even realize that they're in a fight with him. But if Dricus Du Plessis is able to survive the initial onslaught, as we've seen with Khamzat's fights against Gilbert Burns, against his fight with Kamaru Usman, the momentum can shift drastically. And once Khamzat starts to slow down after the first round, he becomes much more vulnerable, and that's potentially where Dricus Du Plessis could rise and shine. We've seen Dricus Du Plessis take on a top-level competition and come out on top, showing his incredible toughness as well as adaptability. His underrated fight IQ, combined with his power as well as his unorthodox fighting style, could be the perfect antidote to Khamzat Chimaev's relentless pressure. And unlike some of Khamzat's past opponents, Dricus Du Plessis isn't someone who's gonna fold under pressure. He's shown that he's willing to dig deep and go to war if he needed. And DDP has already proven his strength as well as his tenacity in his recent fights. We saw it against Sean, we saw it against Izzy, and perhaps most notably, we saw it when he dismantled Robert Whittaker in under 8 minutes. And if Khamzat Borz can decisively defeat a weathered old vet like Bobby Knuckles, who is past his prime and has shown signs of a declining glass chin, then I'm not sure how he fares against someone like Dricus Du Plessis, who made quick work of Bobby Knuckles. But of course, it's still a bit early to say anything for certain, and a lot depends on what happens at UFC 308. But if Khamzat Borz can deliver a statement performance against Robert Whittaker, we could be looking at one of the biggest middleweight showdowns in UFC history. But for now, if I had to choose, I'd favor Dricus Du Plessis in a fight against Khamzat Borz Chimaev. But that's all I've got to say for this video. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys have to say to this hypothetical matchup between Dricus Du Plessis against Khamzat Borz Chimaev. Let me know in the comment section below. But that about wraps up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.